Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
It's a common expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. However, what if the horse's mouth is filled with useful insurance tools? This is the exact case with the Geico app. Yes, the app is free and therefore a gift horse. However, look inside the app and behold, emergency roadside assistance, digital ID cards, bill pay. Get the Geico app. Look it in the mouth, get amazing services. Thank you.
You've just joined the Prepper Broadcasting Network, where we promote self-reliance and independence. The views and opinions expressed are strictly those of the host or their guests. Visit us in the interactive chat room at prepperbroadcasting.com.
Prepping Academy. I am Forrest. We got Kyle across the table. We're coming to you live from prepperbroadcasting.com. I know we just started, but if you're over on Blog Talk Radio, go to prepperbroadcasting.com. We have an interactive chat room. People are chatting. Kyle, are they chatting? Kyle even has his own computer tonight to chat in the chat room. This is the first time ever.
No, I've done it before.
Oh, you've done it before?
Yeah, usually.
Okay. Usually I do all the chatting because Kyle can't read or write. And
yes, never mind.
Oh, again, if you're in Blog Talk, go over to Prepper Broadcasting. We're live every Friday night. Then we go into Around the World and podcast. Around the world.
Around the world?
2 or 3 times.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, how was your week?
It was still
Are you still careerless?
I mean, are we ever really with career? Do you ever really know? No, yeah. It's all good. Figuring out a few things, getting some things started.
You are starting some new projects.
Yeah, a big announcement at the end of the month.
We'll be doing a big announcement at the end of the month. Yeah. Something about a closet.
Oh.
Okay, maybe not. No.
It was pretty simple week. I did a little bit of prepping. You know, I had that new truck box, and I pretty much maxed it out with prepping supplies and cleaned up all my stuff. Did a little bit of summer cleaning. I'm putting in some new stuff to work on guns and stuff like that. Bought a lower.
A lower? Oh, an AR lower. Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at parts for that. So.
You know, the interesting thing is, you have a 1980, what's your truck?
95.
95, and he's put about $45,000 into it.
That's a severe exaggeration. It's 12.
But you got a brand new engine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got like everything's brand new except what's the truck bed itself. The
truck bed is actually new too. I replaced that.
Oh.
So, because it was all rusted out. The only thing that needs to be replaced is a few minor suspension pieces, and the transmission. I'm going to put a Corvette transmission in it.
What?
Yeah, $700. Can handle more horsepower, more torque. So, boom, boom.
You going to torque in that thing?
Yeah, I'm going to torque in my truck. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room to torque.
But yes, he's got an old truck, and as I sit here and I get ready for the station, for our show,
yeah,
I hear his truck a block away.
Oh, yeah.
And just cruise in front of my house.
He's got a nasty growl.
And parks, and I'm like, okay, Kyle's here. I'll go and let him in, which is against everything I have inside that lets you in inside.
But the dog loves me.
Yeah, dog's a devil dog. But this week was interesting. Oh, this is a good week. I've had a good week for the Carolina Preppers Network.
You've had quite a few announcements.
We've signed some major sponsors. We'll probably get into that a little bit next week. But we signed Sawyer Water Filters to be a major sponsor for our Carolina Preppers Network. We've signed Tack Bar, which they make the survival kit. We've signed a company called Survival 401k, which allows you to take your 401k and buy prepping supplies and land and all this kind of stuff, which is really cool. We've actually had him on as a guest.
Yeah.
His name's Ross Powell. What else did we have? I was been asked to speak at 4 prepper shows, conferences this week. All happened this week. There'll be one in Raleigh, North Carolina, Greensboro, Columbia, South Carolina, and one in the boonies of South Carolina. I can't remember the name of it. But
you go to that one on your own.
Yeah. It's near. I guess it's near Athens, Georgia, or Athens, South Carolina, whichever the city. I think it's on the border of South Carolina and Georgia. It's near there. I believe.
I might go. I have a friend down there.
You talked about going down there. So, but so I'll be speaking about prepping groups, survival groups, and prepping groups, and how to prepare yourself for a survival group by utilizing prepper groups like public meeting groups and getting to know people and things like that. So that's probably what I'm going to speak. I have free choice on my topic at all 4. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. So that's 5 speaking engagements in the next 4 months.
Luckily, you talk a lot.
I talk a lot. You didn't say well.
You can fill some space.
Oh, so last night we also did you helped me last night.
Yeah.
We did an intro to guns for personal defense.
Yeah.
And we went through all the different guns. We had a good showing, good class.
Don't you find it ironic? The gun that I chose to use was the last gun I would buy. Which one? Because in pecking order, the shotgun was the one I deemed the least important.
Right.
But that's the one I brought.
Oh yeah, that is funny. That is true. Yeah, well, we knew that Dave was going to bring his tricked out AR.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to bring a shotgun too.
Yeah, I didn't know he was going to do that. And see, my optics are not. I didn't want to show people mine because I don't like to show my full hand.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, there's a $600 optic. Let me play around. No, you're not going to touch it.
But we were extremely safe. We checked all the guns. And
only had one misfire.
Yeah, took a lady's hat off. But other than that. But it was a good class. I mean, at least we had fun. And so you and Dave's another NRA instructor like myself, and we talked. I mean, it was a good class. Intro to guns. There was a lot of ladies there. We gave a lot of gifts. I mean, prizes away too. Some Sawyer, some free range passes. Mm-hmm. So it was good. It was a good night.
So before we get into the usual thing, there was a lot of news this week.
Oh my goodness!
And there was something I don't usually see you miffed about, but you were.
I got ticked off this week.
And see, I've learned to not get ticked off because if I got ticked off about all that stuff, there's nothing I can do about it, really.
Well, I actually was so ticked off. Don't you say a word. I actually listened to Alex Jones this week. That's how mad I was. I told you that, didn't I?
Yeah, you needed to feel that.
You
needed to get a little bit of a release of your anger.
The Vault 7 leak, and it's like absolutely zero privacy. And I think we knew that in our head.
You know what's interesting, though, to me is, did you see all the images they put out with the Vault 7 thing before they released it? They put in, like, the seed bank stuff. They put in some Hitler stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what do some of these have to do with it? It still doesn't make sense to me what some of the images had to do.
Well, they only released 1% of what they totally have.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
So there's still more coming.
Oh, tons more coming.
God.
I know. But
it's
what
already
came
so bad.
out? I mean, they called it suicide by vehicle, where people or the government can take control of your car, and if you've got one of these smart cars that can park itself, they can take full control of that car while you're driving.
Oh, you mean like Michael Breitbart?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly.
Oh.
And some of that, and I just got mad because I started thinking about, our founding fathers and what they would say or do when they hear this.
Well, if you were actually going to the classroom now for the military, depending on what level you're in, I've actually seen where they've taught that our founding fathers were terrorists.
Oh yeah, well,
that has been played out, and there are certain.
If you were
groups
England, absolutely, they were.
No, this is here in the U.S. that they've been taught
yeah.
that.
Well, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
But it just ticked me off because we absolutely have no freedoms whatsoever, and there's no way to correct this.
We talked a little bit about that.
Kyle and I had lunch today, and we did talk about this, and it's so strange. And I know we're delaying your conspiracy theory. We're going to get into that.
That's fine.
But the only way to reset this is something we've been preparing for years.
Yeah, and I mean you can never really be. It's theoretical.
You can't overthrow the government. I'm not putting together an army. That's not what I want to do. The only way to reset this is a EMP or a CME, possibly.
Yeah.
That's the only way to reset this.
Or is you pick up some Godivers and you fake your death and
move to Uruguay.
Yeah, something like that. No, I wouldn't recommend that. That takes a lot of time and bleach.
But that's the only way to reset it. We can't go backwards. No politician is going to go backwards and start cutting the cord, saying that's overreaching. Our courts are not going to do it either. It is just. So actually today, as Kyle and I are eating pizza, it was good pizza, by the way. Mm-hmm. We almost looked at each other. Actually, we probably did and go, we need an EMP. Mm-hmm. But then you think about all the people who are going to die. And
I suddenly don't care.
you suddenly don't care. I had compassion for a few minutes, and I'm like, no, we need an EMP now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I have gone out openly over the years, and whenever I like you started out, there was more concern about operational security, and then I figured, you know what, I'm not doing anyone injustice by keeping this all to myself. Like I should at least try to encourage people. So I've always tried to encourage family, friends, coworkers, and even people I've just met and come across. Hey, they say something that kind of cues up a conversation. But if you see the signs and you don't do anything,
right?
Tough. I don't care. And if you didn't see the signs, then you're just an oblivious sheep to me.
One last thing, and you know this, about 2 months ago, I was just motivated to read 1984 again. Because, people have been talking about it a lot lately. And so the George Orwell's 1984. So I picked it up, I read it again, and then all of a sudden this release comes out, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is beyond. I mean, they got smart TVs that can watch you, listen to you, your smart watches. I mean, your cameras in your house. They could take control of it all. Every computer, even Linux, all these hackers, they're all Linux, everything. There's nothing safe.
Well, here's the thing, too, and it's kind of rewarding, but at the same point, it's bad as all these years that people like me have been saying this stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew a guy, I told you earlier, I knew a guy back in the 80s who was telling me all this stuff, even before Alex Jones was telling everybody. And
in 1989, Alex Jones said there were microphones in the cable boxes.
Yeah. And lo and behold, here, it's finally here, and people are like, they don't say anything. They're like, oh, well, that's disappointing, but we've been telling you for decades.
And then my favorite app that I've recommended to hundreds and hundreds of people, the Signal app.
Yeah.
They can't break the code, the encryption on it, but they can take control of your phone or see what you're doing.
There's programs out there.
And see exactly what you're doing.
There are actually programs. I researched this a little bit. There are actually programs that I could download onto your phone and you not even know it.
Oh, yeah.
And I could get
crazy
information.
It's just disappointing. and it's upsetting. We knew it was going on, and we thought in our head that it was going on. And we kind of knew, but when you start getting facts, then it's like, oh, we're doomed.
Yeah. You know, I think we should come up with a new logo, and I already have it in my mind. We were talking about this earlier today.
Uh-huh.
It should be a frog in a pot with like a camo hat on, like a tactical hat or something like that.
Can you have a bug out bag on?
Yeah,
too?
because
Okay.
that's what we all are right now. We're basically just preppers, all sitting in the perpetual pot here, boiling.
And there's no way to reset unless technology is wiped out.
Yeah, I pray for that daily.
I know you want it, but I feel for people.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
don't really. Well,
I don't anymore.
Sometimes I do. Okay, let's get to anyway. That's our thoughts on that. It should fire people up. It should get people mad. I'm not one that's going to start something. No. I'm just one that's going to share my.
Yeah, because you own a newer vehicle, so they'll run you into a building or something.
I know. What? No, because my car does have cameras all in it. Dang.
Yeah. Not my 95.
Not your 95 truck. Yours still got a slide roller.
So there's probably someone at the CIA right now be like, challenge accepted.
Yeah, no. Okay, so we do this every week. We talk about a conspiracy theory. Alex Jones, which is Kyle's brother, and they both believe in these crazy conspiracy theories. And so we came up with the idea of doing Kyle's conspiracy theory of the week.
Yep.
So he brings a conspiracy theory. We talk about it. He tells me sometimes he believes them, sometimes he doesn't. But all the time I make fun of him. So and that's the fun part.
Well, I mean, it's only fair because I make fun of you the rest of the show. So,
yeah. Okay.
So
fair. Kyle, what is your conspiracy theory this week?
My conspiracy theory this week was honestly tough to stick to because there's been so much stuff in the news that could have.
I almost came up with my own this week after listening to Alex Jones.
Yeah, there's so much going on. I mean, there's even like stuff with UFOs that like I'm even like, dude, like is that real? Dude, it was bizarre stuff.
Some people at work were talking about red-headed 15-foot.
Oh, I know.
Giants.
There's all sorts of weird stuff going on in the news. It's Antarctica's splitting in half, melting. We're getting snow, and it's all sorts of weird. But this week it's artificial intelligence and how it threatens to basically take over our lives. And 2 years ago, I can remember reading an article, and it was a number of scientists got together and they basically signed off as a warning. And I remember the most notable names were Stephen Hawking, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates, saying that artificial intelligence had to be monitored or it would probably be the greatest threat to humankind ever. And now we see more and more things happening where, I mean, like let's be real for a minute. They're talking about artificial intelligence in the economy. There's an article today that I read that was saying that, obviously AI has been used for trading. So you look at all the high frequency trading, all these trades that can occur in a matter of nanoseconds. And it's basically the systems being supported by these algorithms from these machines in a way to sustain everything, but it's not the healthiest thing for us. And that's kind of the problem right there is whenever you create something like that that has so-called free choice.
Do you really think we have that technology?
Oh, yeah, I think we do. I mean, I've actually watched a few videos where scientists have programmed these things, and they have speech and everything like that. And one actually joked about making a human zoo.
But I'm just not sure we're there. I don't know, but I mean, I think artificial intelligence can only be as smart as the programmer.
Oh, it can be. I think that's totally agreeable. But the problem is human beings will use rationale and morals and, some sort of compassion, empathy, sympathy. Machines have none of that. So what happens whenever you have a military?
Everything's black and white, I guess.
Yeah. What happens whenever you have a military like ours where suddenly you start integrating that technology into your nuclear submarines, your drones, things of that nature. And we know that we're working towards that, and so are other nations where they're working towards having things remote controlled. What happens whenever the AI says, oh, you know what, I just think I'm going to go ahead and take over that today. I just think for humanity's best purposes, all these militaries should just annihilate each other. So then there's no military. Or we should just wipe out this nation because it's the main provocateur.
Wow, I think we're just years away from that. And one of the things I do at my work is I sell robots and robotic process.
You heard it here, folks. He is.
And robots are as dumb as a pen. They cannot do anything on its own. Now, you can program it to do things, but what AI is a little different. AI, the concept is it can learn from its mistakes and gain knowledge.
I'm still trying to get that one done with my sister.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
And I'm just not sure that computers can learn from their mistakes to gain knowledge.
They can.
I mean, they can when it comes to, but
see, they don't
program them.
They don't think of the mistakes in the same way that we do. We're looking at things from a sociological standpoint. They're seeing something from just a sheer numbers standpoint.
Right, exactly.
So they don't really care. Yeah. They don't have needs the way we do or wants. So, okay. and I mean, one of the more concerning things too is looking at companies like Google and Amazon and everything they're getting involved with right now. Like, did you see this thing that came out the other day? What's the Amazon thing that they have? The little
Alexis?
bot? Yeah, and someone asked Alexa or Alexa or whatever it is, do you work with the CIA?
And it shuts off. It
won't reply.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an odd thing to have a technical glitch. And now they said they fixed it and it will respond, but that's
I ask Siri questions and Siri just tells me to shut up. I don't know. You think that's the CIA?
Well, no, I programmed Siri to call me Master. So.
You would, yes,
I
Master.
Did. Yes, Master. Yes.
Dude, that's just wrong.
No, it's pretty funny actually.
Mm-hmm.
Great whenever I'm getting directions. Master, turn right now. No, but look at DARPA. It's free information right there. Right. Some of these machines that they're developing, they're right out of Terminator. For God's sakes, I mean, people can just look at these things and see, and they're applauding this. Hey, let's build this giant robot dog that can carry 500 pounds and mount miniguns on it.
See, that is nothing more than a robot being programmed. That's different than artificial.
But if it has artificial intelligence.
Now, if it does, that is different.
It's totally different.
Okay. So we're all going to be. How many movies were made about this? I mean,
the point. Well, it's kind of like we're fulfilling those things. And we're destroying ourselves. And when we've done that for years. I mean, like, look at the CDC. How many biological agents do they have that could wipe us out? And they're ones that they develop.
Right, yeah. Well, that's nice and really depressing.
You're welcome.
Thanks for bringing that.
You're welcome.
But now, if I had a robot that could do my job and I still get paid, I'm all for that.
So you're for being a snowflake. That's what I'm hearing. Is you just want to sit back, lounge, and be a snowflake.
We're supposed to get snow this weekend.
We're not going to get snow.
But
we're not going to get snow.
But I mean, yeah, okay. I'm just thinking out loud. Okay, so tonight, thanks for your pick there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tonight we're going to be talking about bushcraft.
I'm gonna be spending the entire night, honestly, just thinking about some robot hunting us down whenever the crap hits the fan. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger chasing us through the woods. I'm like, oh crap, I told you.
No. Bushcraft is an interesting kind of skill. Now, I do have a survival school here in Charlotte, and I teach all these skills. I actually have my course syllabus and my non-nicotine stain hand. You know what?
Why would you bring up?
That's why I don't know. That's what Rush does. He when he shakes his paper. But anyway, but I teach it. Bushcraft, and bushcraft is a skill that would you say that everyone needs, and why do they need it?
Say again.
I was reading. You were reading the chat room, weren't you?
I read.
Yeah. in the chat room. So bushcraft is a skill that all preppers need, or would you say everyone needs?
No, I only want preppers to survive, so just preppers probably.
I forget, you want preppers to control the world and all else die.
I'm sorry, but there tends to be a perspective there that if you have not prepared, then you probably are like, a few clicks above mentally handicapped.
What if Bill Gates came to you and said, Kyle, you don't have as much money as I have, and you haven't been preparing your entire life.
And you know what I would tell Bill Gates?
And so you need to be shipped to another country.
You know what I would tell Bill Gates? I'd be like, Bill, go ahead and go in your bunker. When you go in your bunker, I'm going to cover it in concrete. I'd be like, I don't have as much money, but I got enough to cover your ass. That's about that.
Okay, do some bushcraft skills. So why is it necessary for people to have bushcraft skills? And then first define bushcraft skills. I know we know, but tell us what
Bushcraft skills
Mm-hmm.
is being able, essentially, to survive out in the bush with minimal tools and surviving off the land, essentially.
Right. Okay.
It's important because what happens whenever you don't have your bug out bag? What happens whenever you only have a fixed blade knife, clothes on your back, and maybe a shovel, or something simple? It's being able to use your inherent skills for nature around you and be able to build more tools and basically restart. It's crafting a whole new beginning.
Right. And, we both watched the show Alone, and they even take like 10 tools with them, 10 items, and they have a hard time surviving in the wilderness. I think the winter, the most has ever stayed is like 70 days.
Yeah.
And they have tools. Some of them have bow and arrows and fishing poles. So bushcraft skills, though, we're not going to try to, spend much time in the wild, but in my class, I've got it broken down. First thing I really talk about is the philosophy of surviving. Alan Kay, when he teaches, he teaches about this. You got to have a mindset to survive. If you can have all the tools that you want, that you need, but if you don't have the mindset of surviving, he says that's the most important thing, and I agree.
Yeah, mindset has a ton to do with it because some people, they're people persons. They need to be around people. They need to thrive off of.
You are not one of them.
No. I would go up there and probably 90 days into it, they'd be like, hey, Kyle, you won. And I'd be like, can I have another 30 to 90 days?
My wife and kids still home.
I'm still working some things out up here. I'm kind of chilling. Let's just give Kyle some more time.
Yeah, I found this basketball, and it's got a handprint. I named it Carl.
Yeah, something like that. But if you can't survive mentally, if you can't deal with yourself as a person, then, you're just going to crack.
And so there's some rules, and, every survival instructor covers this. There's a lot of the preppers know this kind of stuff, but you can survive 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. You would die. That's the danger. 3 minutes without air. It's pretty dangerous. Once you hold your breath.
Unless you're a Navy SEAL, then you can make like 5-6 minutes.
I don't know if they can carry it that long.
Oh, they can.
Oh.
There's mental damage.
But a lot of people go, well, 3 hours without shelter. I don't need shelter. Well, if it's 110 out, or if it's minus
50,
10, yeah.
Freeze.
So, but 3 hours in water, we all know we need water. And 3 weeks without food. I know people who have gone longer than 3 weeks. They do a fast, and they do longer than 3 weeks. Yeah, he did 40 days, which is longer than 3 weeks. But anyway, so that's some of the basic rules. That's taught in every survival school. So the funnest thing when you teach, and people like to do, what would you think it is?
The funnest thing?
The funnest, what they look forward to, and you spend the most time doing when you're teaching a class.
Rubbing sticks together. They
want to be able to create fire.
Yeah.
Fire, fire, fire.
Yeah.
And that is important.
Yeah, I always like shelter better.
Shelter is important, but it depends on if you have clean water or not. If you don't have clean water, shelter and water, I think, are both important.
No, I'm saying in terms of which I have more fun with.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I always like
Dude,
building shelters.
You sweat. You have to get the branches. You got to do all this stuff.
But you're lazy, so it's just.
No, I'm not lazy. I just like I need a robot.
You need a robot to do it with you. See, fire. I usually I have it covered.
Well, oh yeah, that didn't work.
Didn't it work?
Yeah, there you go. He has a lighter. It's a plasma. Is that no? What is that?
Plasma. Yeah, it's a plasma cutter.
No.
Let me cut through metal.
Well, they have plasma lighters.
No.
Something.
So it's one of those little butane.
Butane on it. Okay. But how about if you don't have that on you? Have you ever made fire? Okay, you got.
I got my flint. Yeah.
Have you ever made fire with just sticks?
It's been a long time.
Okay. I went on a local TV station here probably a year ago and showed these two wonderful people how to make fire with sticks. Of course, they could not even get close. Mm-hmm. Then I tried to show them how to do it with steel wool and a 9-volt battery. They still could not do it with that. I kid you not.
No. You know what's really fun is?
If
you tell them to test out the 9-volt battery, make sure there's a charge on it first by putting it on their tongue.
Yeah. They looked at me like I was crazy when I did that. They were like, really? Really? And he actually did. And then I gave them an actual ferro rod and a scraper. Mm-hmm. And they finally, it went into jute string and in the jute string I had some cotton balls with Vaseline on it. They finally started fire, but I told them in the interview when they were interviewing me, I'm like, they go, well, how do you think we'll do out in the wild? I said, well, you guys would be great to go with because you'll die pretty quickly.
Then you have a food source.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
No, that's horrible.
But anyway, it is hard to make fire with sticks, and if you've never done it, it is difficult. There's an art to it.
Yeah.
There's definitely an art.
And some blisters involved.
Yes. So I'm going to look in the chat room because we'll probably do.
Yeah, we're about due, I think, for
a commercial break. So we got G-Man in the studio in an undisclosed location near the border of Canada. I think. I don't know where he is.
Under 5 feet of snow.
Under 5 feet of snow. He actually said he built tunnels there last week. But anyway, G-Man, take us to commercial break. We'll be right back in about a minute and a half, guys.
We have exciting news. You can now afford to have your own freeze dryer. That's right, for the first time ever, it's possible to have a freeze dryer in your home. It was invented right here in America by Harvest Right. With this new appliance, you can freeze dry your own food and it will last 25 years. Imagine freeze drying fruit, vegetables, meat, and your own homemade meals. It's as easy to use as a microwave. Learn more about this amazing home freeze dryer at harvestright.com. Again, that's harvestright.com.
Find peace of mind for your family at Forge Survival Supply. Founded by United States Marine Corps veterans, Forge is the premier destination for quality American-made survival and emergency preparedness products. Freeze-dried foods, water filtration, fire starters, fully equipped bug-out bags. Find everything your family needs to stay safe, protected, and nourished during times of uncertainty at ForgeSurvivalSupply.com. Delivery is fast and it's free on all orders. Need help? Call our 24/7 support team. As a listener of this program, Forge Survival Supply would like to give you an additional 10% savings. That's right, an additional 10% off your entire order, plus free shipping by entering discount code SURVIVOR at checkout. That's ForgeSurvivalSupply.com and use discount code SURVIVOR.
Hey, I'm Joe Alton, MD. I'm here to remind you that disasters can happen anytime, anywhere, and you need to know what to do in an emergency. The new 2016 third edition of the Survival Medicine Handbook is the essential guide for when medical help is not on the way. The Survival Medicine Handbook covers every issue you'll face in times of trouble, and it's all in plain English. Get the Survival Medicine Handbook at Amazon.com. I guarantee one day you'll be glad you did.
All right, we are back. Okay, everyone check us out on the web. We're at preppingacademy.com, preppingacademy.com. You will not believe the giveaways we're going to have this next year. Some unbelievable giveaways. Check us out, preppingacademy.com. Subscribe to our podcast and give us a high rating because we deserve it. So preppingacademy.com. Also, look. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. I think we're on everything. Pretty much. So, okay. So look us up. Send us a message. Rate us 5-star. If you don't rate us 5-star, don't rate us. I mean, come on. I know that's bad. Yeah. Okay, some of the things I wanted to cover, because Kyle said don't do that, but I'm going to. So in my class, I teach people how to create fire. And let me just share with you the different ways we go over. Now, some of these I just demonstrate. I don't let them actually practice or actually do it because it just takes too long. A lot of these are, you just got to practice and have the skill. But I teach with a lighter. Ooh, you wouldn't believe how many people can't keep a lighter going. A fire going just with a lighter.
Yeah.
Matches. I can create fire with air. It's called an air piston. It's a gimmick, but it compresses air and creates. You can create fire from a battery, from glass by taking a magnifying glass, rock and flint, wood, friction, water. I can create fire with water. Put it in a bag, make it in a circle. Again, sun going through it, magnifies it, create fire. I can actually create fire with ice. Take a block of ice from the lake, shape it into a lens, and you can actually will magnify. If you do it correctly, man, it will start a fire like quickly. And then chemicals. There's all kinds of chemicals you can do. So there's many ways to create fire. But you need to learn how to do it with sticks.
Yeah, I usually like to use iron oxide and aluminum powder.
Yeah, that's easy, but how many times do you go in the woods and go, I have that in my pocket?
Well, iron oxide is easy to get, and so would be aluminum powder in a survival situation. Of course, you need high heat to ignite that, and that fire would melt through a lot of stuff, so it might be a little overkill.
Well, flint is ready, available everywhere. I mean, especially if you're near like a train track. Mm-hmm. A lot of the rocks that they use on train tracks, there's a lot of flint in there.
I kind of foresee that whenever the crap does hit the fan, preppers are not going to have a very difficult time making fires. I think a lot of people assume, you're not going to be living out in the middle of nowhere. That's just not going to happen. And even if you do, you're going to have so many modern tools you're going to be surrounded by. You're probably going to be taking apart cell phones and stuff like that just to be able to, make some modern conveniences and tools and whatnot. So don't worry about that. But me, I like shelter.
Shelter. You're a shelter guy.
I love shelter.
I like shelter.
But part of it is, I like to take it a little bit beyond bushcraft. One of the things I'd really like to do someday is actually make a log cabin with chinking and everything, and just have fun with that. But making really basic shelters, A-frames to domes, leaning shelters, in-ground shelters. Mm-hmm. A ton of things that you could do. I actually started doing that whenever I was a kid. I remember I really ticked my dad off because he had cut down a bunch of brush and it was getting into wintertime. He didn't clean it up. So I ended up making like 10 different shelters out the backyard. And then he came home and was like, what the heck? Like, hey, you leave it here for me. I'm going to have fun with it. So I had to clean all that up. That was great.
Well, you need shelter because for protection from the weather.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Snow, rain, fire, hail, locusts.
Wait. Fire.
Oh, wait.
Fire is weather. Wait. There's a firestorm. Is that what you're talking about?
That's happened before, right?
Okay, yeah.
Biblical.
Fire.
It's one of those considerations that it's a really simple skill, and people can have fun practicing that just even in their own backyard.
Yep.
Learning how to make ropes, using grapevines and ivies and stuff like that. That's fun stuff to do. Mm-hmm. And you even have one of those little tools. I forget what the thing's called, but you can actually use it to make like with bottles and stuff like that.
You can shred a bottle. And make cordage out of it.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, you walk around Charlotte and you go into the woods somewhere, inevitably
there's a bottle somewhere.
There's bottles everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, I teach in my class A-frame, debris huts.
Mm-hmm.
And so you build an A-frame in a sense, one big tree down the middle, just sticks leaning against it, and you just fill it with, just leaves and sticks and stuff. They make a nice little bed in there.
Yeah, and they're talking in the chat right now about a Dakota fire, Dakota hole.
Oh yeah, Dakota. Yeah,
and that's one of the things I love those too. It's a really simple concept, and
mm-hmm.
You can't go wrong with that.
No,
I prefer that over an open fire, anyways.
Yep. And then so you even when it's hot out, you got to have protection from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's cold out, you need the heat. And so, these are just simple things. You can read these things in a book, right?
No, absolutely.
But it doesn't mean you can go out and do them.
No.
You can have all the knowledge in your head until you go out and build one of these debris huts or Dakota hole, so the fire, the air will suck through it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Until you do it, you don't know how to do it. You think you know how to do it, but you don't know how to do it.
It's like I had a conversation with a couple of guys this week, and there's theory preppers and there's practice preppers, and there's these guys who go out there and they have all the theory, they have all the paperwork, they have the books, and then they don't go out and they don't practice things. And some of that I can understand because it's a matter of convenience. You can't always build a teepee in a Dakota fire in your front yard or in your apartment complex.
Maybe your backyard.
Maybe your backyard. if you're blessed enough that you have one,
a
lot of people are renting, they don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
But you actually need to get out there and practice those things, because simple bushcraft really comes down to shelter, food, fire, water.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you get into more advanced things, you're going to start to learn more about medicinal plants.
Right.
You can get into things like blacksmithing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people wouldn't quite categorize that, but I would actually probably try to venture in there once you get your skills developed enough.
Because you need tools.
Yeah, you definitely
to make
need
your
tools.
life easier.
And you can definitely develop little.
And for the herbs, I'm gonna kidnap Angie, a friend of mine.
You can't say that on the.
Oh wait, I can't say that. Well, she knows I'm going to kidnap her.
Yeah.
She's just she knows everything there is about plants and medicines and all that, and I tell her all the time I'm gonna kidnap her if something happens. And other people are going to try to beat me to her. Actually, she's that valuable.
Yeah, just if you ever see anything, just put something on online. Oh, I see Angie at Publix, and no.
Yeah. And so shelter is important. Building shelter, especially in snow. You can build great shelters in harsh climates.
Oh yeah, definitely. They naturally insulate. I remember doing that back in Chicago just as a kid, just to have fun. But then, another thing is too, you can do more advanced things. Like you can't just go from trapping to just eating your food. Then you got to learn how to utilize what you have.
And that's a good point, because you may be able to cook some mac and cheese really good in the microwave or on the stove, or fry some steaks up on your grill. But when you're in the bush, when you're in the wild and you have to cook meat and you have to clean it, it's a total different story.
Yeah.
Things cook faster. They cook different. The way you have to cook your meat, you might have to cook your meat on a rock.
Yeah, and that's tasty.
And so you've got to learn how to do this, or you're going to destroy meat, and it's just going to be a big charcoal piece of meat or something. And you could overcook food and destroy a lot of the nutrients that you need.
So I eat everything medium rare.
So, but cooking is a skill, especially out in the wild. So, and also water. Now, we're lucky in North America. We don't really have viruses in our water that will kill you.
Yeah.
We just, there's very few places that's ever had. In North America, our water is pretty much clean. Doesn't mean there's going to be bugs and things that won't make you sick.
The nice thing is we don't usually bathe in our water so much, or throw people in it for burial.
And there are chemicals. Now, we have chemicals which they don't have in these.
Those will hurt you.
Yeah,
They'll hurt you.
Yeah, tell these people around these coal ash farms that are got
iron
high
phosphate. No, it doesn't hurt you at all.
But the water is pretty much safe in North America. You do need to filter it. There's several ways to filter it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can just putting water on a tarp and letting the sun hit it for hours. The ultraviolet rays will kill any of the bacteria, and you can eat it. Put it in a water bottle, or a Coke bottle that you find. Just throw it out in the sun for the day, and it will kill.
I keep one silver coin.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
All the bug out bags, just for that reason, because silver will naturally kill.
You only
bacteria.
have one silver coin?
No, in the bags.
Okay.
In the bags. I didn't say I only had one.
Okay. You did say I only had one. But yes, there are many ways. You can create your own. I mean, if you got fire, then you can create a water filter as well.
Mm-hmm.
But a layered system of sand, rocks, and charcoal.
I probably ought to mention this. Despite what Bear Grylls does, not recommending drinking your own urine.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that at all. No, I would, or your friend's urine.
If you're into that sort of thing, please don't share.
Yeah. I remember the time he peed on a bandana and then tied it to his head, and I'm like, no, that's just wrong.
Oh no, I remember the time he went out with someone, and it was on his newest show.
And he squeezed the cow.
No. They cooked a mouse in her urine, and then drank that and ate the mouse.
Oh, that's just.
And he said that was like the most disgusting thing he'd ever eaten.
One time they found like a big pile of some kind of crap.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they were squeezing it and the juice out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In North America, especially on the East Coast, man, there's creeks and streams everywhere. So water. Oh, you can dig. They call it an Egyptian well.
Mm-hmm.
You dig it 3 feet from a creek bed or a lake. You just don't want to do it where the cow, the deer and everyone poops and pees. So the ground itself would filter it. There's solar stills.
You can also get it from roots.
Yeah, roots are grapevines and poison ivy vines.
Yeah.
You gotta know the difference.
The funny thing is, I don't get it.
You don't get poison ivy. Oh gosh, because you're an alien. But there's a difference between grapevines and poison ivy vines. Yeah. But grapevines you can get it from roots and some trees. I mean, you can just tap a tree
from trees
and get some sap and some water as well.
Mm-hmm.
And also plants around water.
Yeah. Very, very clever.
Yeah. And you can eat eyeballs. Have you ever heard of that?
No. I have heard
from
of that.
animals and things.
I'm too. I can eat certain bugs, but I'm too squeamish to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat.
I'm not sitting there eating some goat testicles or some pig's eyeballs or something like that for some water.
Right.
No, that's all good.
That's all good. So water. There's many. Oh, moss can also filter out.
Yeah.
And then the dew on the ground.
One of the guys that got didn't the guy that got like explosive diarrhea on the first season of Alone, didn't he try and use moss to filter his water?
He did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he got explosive diarrhea.
Yeah.
And he had to bow out.
Yeah, diarrhea is bad. You can use tons of different things. I'm just looking at some of my.
Yeah, he mentions Canterbury. Canterbury's the guy, the Bushcraft guy, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I actually have one of his books. I like his book. I haven't read anything up on his school, but I do like his book.
Mm-hmm. Rainfall, dew in the morning. You can also tie a bag around tree limbs, like green tree limbs, and the condensation will form, and you can drink that. I mean, gosh, you got to have a ton of them to have some water, though.
Mm-hmm.
Same with a solar still. It doesn't produce a lot of water.
No.
And even in a whole day's time. And so these are just skills that, Boy Scouts learn these things.
Yeah.
Some of these skills.
Yeah.
In my class, I try to make it fun and give them easy things that they can remember that they don't always have to practice. Because I understand, blue collar workers, white collar workers come, and sometimes they just don't have time to go out and practice. But I want it to be easy enough to go, you know what? I remember a solar still. I remember how that was.
Yeah.
Okay, I might not do it right, but let me figure this out.
I think it's kind of like riding a bike. Do it a couple times, and once you
But some of us
have the same principle. Oh yeah.
Like the fire, if it sticks, if you think you're going to do that, you're going to die. I mean, you're literally.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, experts have a hard time with that sometimes.
But that's why I don't think too many of us are really going to find ourselves that far out in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you're up in Canada, maybe.
Well, and like you have a paracord bracelet on that has some a ferro rod with it and a scraper.
Dude, I probably in my truck, in my bug out bags, I probably have like 10 different ways, and then redundancies, multiples of those things to start fire. So I don't think that's.
I carry a knife, and my knife actually has a ferrous rod. I even take my shoelaces out of my shoes. You've seen it.
Oh yeah, you put the little rod on there.
I put a little teeny rod on the bottom, in my shoelace, the very bottom loop or whatever you want to call that. So I always have something to create fire. Always. I mean, magnifying glasses. Ooh, you can get a big screen TV. The old ones in there.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I have one of those little domes that has like a little stand in it. You put that in there, and then,
I've got some of them. It's like a mirror.
Yeah.
And it focuses all the energy to.
They're great for you angle it right. I could probably burn like a hole in your hand.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that stuff is hot. I mean, I have them around here somewhere. I use that in my class.
So there's a ton of different ways, but the idea of bushcraft is saying that if you're just SOL and you have minimal tools, you need to have the skills to be able to develop more tools and basically a restart, because you are not guaranteed in this life anything easy. You're guaranteed trials and tribulations, and you will be tested. Mm-hmm. So best now to prepare for the test before it gets here.
And so some other skills you need. There's finding water and creating pure water to drink, shelter, making fire. But there's also how to actually maybe get something to eat.
Yeah.
And there's different ways you can fish, you can trap. I like alone because they always demonstrate, different types of traps,
techniques and all that,
and techniques. But you gotta learn. You gotta have food. Now, foraging, the concept is amazing, right? I can just walk through the woods and eat things that I see.
Now here,
and
Michael,
that's harder than it is.
Michael brought up a great point.
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Go to the nearest McDonald's, order something.
Yes. Absolutely.
But one of the things I teach in my class is acorns. Acorns have a lot of protein, but you've got to learn how to prepare them. Because they got a lot of acid. You got to get the acid out of there. You can put them in a stream, some kind of netting in a stream, and let water, after you peel them, let the water run through it, and it will wash over. I'm talking days. Yeah. Or you can boil them and dump the water and just do that time and time again. And I've done that here. We had movie night one night, and I started boiling some acorns, and they taste close to like a boiled peanut, but nowhere close to it. It's worse. I'm telling you. But it has the same. It's almost like it, but it just doesn't taste as good. No. But you can grind that up and make bread and stuff. There's all kinds of things you can do with that.
Absolutely.
That's one of the best foraging foods in North America for protein that you can get.
Yeah. Aside from, deer or
something. Well.
I almost hit a deer on the way over here, actually.
See, then you could go, look what I have killed.
Oh, I was going to. I was going to. If I would have hit that, I would have thrown it in the back of the truck.
You would have come over. I would be sitting.
Yeah. There'd just be a pile of guts laying out in your shirt.
But people have this misconception. Let's talk about that. People have this misconception. Oh, when the grid goes down, you would just go out hunting and get us a deer.
No. People need to realize, you look at the population density today, whenever the Great Depression came, guess what was in short supply within a few months?
Deer. Probably all meat.
All any sort of animal you could get.
Cats.
Yeah, pretty much. And you think about that, your neighbors hear a little yappy dog in your backyard, and they're starving. Guess what they're going to eat?
They can have, I'm not going to say that.
Don't talk about Jake like that.
No, Jake is a devil dog, I'm telling you.
But then, one of the things we didn't talk about too much, and I know we got to wrap up here soon, is navigation. Navigation is really
important.
I mean, if you don't know how to navigate, you have maps, you have the sign, you have sticks, you have compasses, you have GPS, you have all sorts of things. Oh, wait, GPS wouldn't fall in Bushcraft, would it?
Yeah. I actually teach how you can, in my class, and most classes do, is how to determine north and south from the stars and from the sun.
You know my favorite trick?
What's that?
Is the fingers to tell how much time you have.
How much time
sunlight.
left? Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite tricks ever.
Is that because you like to hide your face from the sun? Is that it? But, I mean, learning how to tell, okay, there's a North Star. Everyone's heard of the North Star. The North Star is always north in North America.
Mm-hmm.
It's always north.
Unless we have a pole flip, then it might be the South Star. Or the West. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Don't overthink it.
Okay.
Don't overthink it.
Okay. I was thinking through that. Then there's a way to tell where north and south is almost exactly from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
You take a stick in the ground, you put it in the ground, and you mark the shadow. You wait about 30 minutes, and you mark it again. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, that tells you east and west.
Yeah.
And then you put a 90-degree stick there, and it gives you north and south.
So wait, when people call me a stick in the mud, it actually means I'm good at giving directions?
Yes.
No.
No.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I hope you believe that, yeah. But there are easy ways you can do that. Don't do the moss on the back of the trees. That's kind of a...
That's iffy.
That's iffy. That's very iffy. Yeah. I mean, and let's say that it's cloudy. Everybody says, well, what if it's cloudy? Well, stay put. Wait until it's sunny. Or you can see where the sun is, or some days you can, roughly, and you can then using your imagination, do the sticks and go, okay, I can't see the sun, but I know it's in that way, and you can get a rough estimate of where east and west is.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I want to talk about tonight, aside from bushcraft, aside from conspiracy theories and everything, we have very limited time on the show. We get, about an hour, and maybe 20 to 30 minutes of that is kind of like the meat of the topics.
Yep.
So when you guys join in on the chats, or you're listening and you don't join in on the chat, something like that, try to understand we have limited time to talk about these things.
Yeah. We're just trying to get your juices going, your mind thinking.
Yeah. Ultimately, we have fun doing this, and this isn't to be perfect. This is to throw things out there. Like, obviously, like last week we talked about gardening. This week we're talking about bushcraft. Two very, very broad topics.
Right.
I mean, I've done so much gardening. I mean, I've done everything from designing aquaponic systems to splicing trees. Mm-hmm. I don't have time to talk about all that.
Right.
I don't have time to do a walkthrough and stuff like that. And I love that. But that's where I'll say there's another website we very rarely talk about.
FEMA?
No, not FEMA. It's for the proper consulting.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So if there's something where someone does want something more in there, and I know, like, I have something coming up, there is a larger wealth of knowledge that we don't go into and we don't have time to go into.
Right.
But we love doing this sort of stuff. But if you guys do have questions and want specifics, we'll do our best to get to it in the chat. But do try to understand.
Right.
There's limited time.
So what you're saying is it's kind of an ad for ourselves, I guess.
A little bit.
Because we have a website. What's it called? Purple Consulting.
Mm-hmm.
PurpleConsulting.com, where we actually consult with people. They pay us to spend time with them on their homestead or on their house.
It's kind of like escorts for preppers.
And see, I go to individuals' houses and do this, and you know, but I'm not going to bring that up at all. But I mean, and we charge money for that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not there. There are people out there who have been prepping for 5-10 years, and there's so much to consider. Sometimes it's just nice to have someone come behind you and say, "Hey, did you think of this?"
Right. Mm-hmm.
They don't usually need as much time, but then there's other people who, quite frankly, they're professionals. Maybe they're even blue collar workers, and they work 50 to 60 hours a week, and they don't have the time.
Right.
And then we can sit down and go through with those folks as well.
I mean, even coming up soon, you're going to take this, but this one, but you have people coming up from Georgia and Texas to spend time to do some consulting. Am I right there? So it is prepperconsulting.com, isn't it?
Yeah.
Prepper Consulting, because I know I sent that to you today. I forgot the URL. Prepperconsulting.com. And for some reason, I can't even get there. I'm trying to. Go ahead.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay. Hey, guys, go to preppingacademy.com. And I think there's a link. There is a link on preppingacademy.com to our consultant site.
Yeah.
But preppingacademy.com, we sign up for a mailing list. We have 30 seconds. Our producer's telling us in the chat room we have 30 seconds. Then he starts playing music to really
rush you along.
So, guys, hey, we really enjoyed doing this. I hope you guys get something out of this. Get out in the woods, play a little bit.
Safely burn some stuff.
And we will see you guys next week.
15 minutes or so.
Okay. Later, guys.
Today's broadcast has come to you through the courtesy of the Prepper Broadcasting Network. See our hosts, show schedules, archived programs, and more at prepperbroadcasting.com. Thanks for listening.
The Beauty Brand's annual hairspray event is back. Shop over 115 salon brand hairsprays and dry shampoos, starting at just $7.99.
Where to turn when styles fall flat? Sebastian Schaefer's where it's at. Try Chi or Rusk, put frizz on ice. S-Factor for shine and hold, how nice.
The Beauty Brand's annual hairspray event ends Saturday, April 1st. So stock up on your favorites and save up to 67%. Plus, receive a free full-size gift from Sexy Hair while supplies last. For details, visit your nearest store or shop beautybrands.com.
Has your data been hacked? Do you feel uneasy about the vulnerability of your personal information online? Were you involved in the Target, LinkedIn, or Microsoft data leaks? Don't know? If not, then pay attention. Join Forrest Garvin from PrepperNet for a free webinar on privacy and security. Gain insights into safe internet browsing, VPNs, crafting online aliases, secure emails, detecting if your data has been hacked, and managing passwords. Secure your spot today for this webinar on privacy and security. It's free. This webinar delves into comprehensive strategies for bolstering your online privacy. We've got you covered, from fortifying your passwords to shielding your financial information and mastering state-of-the-art encryption techniques. We're offering 2 convenient dates to suit your schedule. Reserve your spot now at preppernet.com/privacy. Don't let cyber threats erode your peace of mind any longer. Take the first step toward a safer, more secure online experience by joining us for our free webinar. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to safeguarding your privacy. Sign up now at preppernet.com/privacy. We'll see you there.